Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to talk about an important question that many people who consider going to Asia and especially Vietnam may have. And the questions I'm going to answer today is what do I hate and what do I dislike here in Vietnam. So if you just discover me through this video, I've been living in Vietnam for more than 5 years, living in Asia for 6.5 years, but mostly based in Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon. So I hope through this video you will get some of my insights from someone who have been living here for a while. So I don't know your current situation, if you plan to come to Vietnam just for tourism, or if you plan to come here to work, to study, or maybe even to do business. I hope this video will give you a quick illustration about what you have to expect in terms of downside and in terms of things that people don't talk so much on YouTube about Vietnam. So let's get started. The first thing I don't like in Vietnam, it's about the flooding. In Vietnam, you have a very, very deep raining season. I live in Ho Chi Minh City, so here it's quite dense for about 3 to 4 months. So from September to December, in average, you will have heavy flooding. Right now, we actually at the beginning of the raining season, and every day it rains from 30 minutes to 1 hour in average. But in October, November, you can expect having sometimes 2 to 3 hours of heavy rain almost every day. So depending on the location you want to move to Vietnam, if you are in the north, you will have 4 seasons. So basically the same weather we have in Europe. And in the south is going to be the 2 seasons. So one season that will be very hot, with a temperature from 38 degrees to sometimes 40, 43 degrees Celsius. And then during the raining season, you will have temperature from about 25 in the morning up to 30, but still with a very humid weather, and so you will still sweat a lot and you will have heavy rain during the middle of the raining season. So obviously when you come here, you know, you want to enjoy, you want to take your motorbike, go out, go to nice restaurants, maybe plan your night going to bars after going to clubs. And when you have those kind of heavy weather, it's pretty hard. Sometimes you have to cancel your plan. Sometimes you dress up nice, you take your motorbike, take your girlfriend, go out, and then you catch the rain. It's very not funny to have that. But this is the part that what you have to expect if you come to Asia and especially Vietnam. So this is the first thing I don't like, the raining season here. Now, the second thing I don't like here is, I would call it the karaoke ambience. Let me develop a little bit. So when you go to live overseas, of course you have to fit with the culture, right? You cannot expect to have the same vibes, the same environment, and expect people to do the same as what you have in the country that you are come from. I don't know where you come from. I come from south of France. And in south of France, people gonna party, but you know, the neighbor between the house, they're gonna respect the other neighbor. If you do a party, you're gonna tell your neighbors that you're gonna maybe make some noise unexceptionally. But here, the trend start to be like people do whatever they want. So I live in Ho Chi Minh City for 2 years in Dak Kao. So this is in District 1, and I chose that district because it was very local. I really enjoyed the vibes there, really, you know, be surrounded by Vietnamese. It was a really like Vietnamese community, just a few expats were living there. So I really enjoyed it for 2 years, but after 2 years, sometimes it starts to be a little bit too much. Why? Because for instance, you're gonna go out with your friends, have some drinks, then you go home at 11, midnight, and then sometimes you will have people singing karaoke until 1, 2, 3 a.m. But that's not only that, it's like in the morning you will have other neighbors that may also sing karaoke. So sometimes you are in a neighborhood that the people, they just do their own life, and then they won't really care about the people surrounding them. So this is really the culture you have here and the way people are just doing things. So it can be a little bit frustrating when you settle here for a couple of years, because after a while you start to be a little bit tired about those behavior. It's not to blame the Vietnamese, that's just part of the tradition and part of how they like to enjoy life. but sometimes it can be a little bit too much. Now, the third thing that I don't like in Vietnam, it's about the scam. So let's be honest, you have scam everywhere, right? You have scam in Europe, you have scam in the US. I come from a small town in south of France. You always have scam over there, and then maybe over there, if they try to rob you, they will use a knife, or sometimes they even use a gun. In Vietnam, you don't have this kind of petty crime, but you will have people that may want to snatch your phone. So let's say you are in the middle of the street, you want to take a selfie, or even you are on your motorbike, you are checking Google Maps, then at that time it may be dangerous. Not because people, again, will use knife to snap you, but just because they may try to snap your phone. So you have those kind of robbers here, so you have to be aware. If you just come as a tourist, you may experience this also as an expat after a couple of months or years living here. It's really something you have in the whole country, but more especially in the big city like Da Nang, Hanoi, or Ho Chi Minh City. But in terms of scam, I don't necessarily want to focus on this and let you know about those scam. I'm more talking about scam that you may have if you are a tourist. When you come here, when you just arrive, you may have some people that are going to try to overcharge you. I remember being facing some taxi guys that wanted to overcharge me or tell me that the 500 note was the same as the 50K, you know, because the color is very similar. So you will have those kind of nasty behavior and people trying to get a little bit more of your money when you are in Vietnam. I remember also another story about my parents visited me after 2 or 3 years living here. So they come here for the first time. We really went through all the country, traveling, somehow backpacking, you know, so really going to a small area, walking a lot, etc. And then in Hue, my mom, she has pain in her legs. So I put her in a Xe Ôm, so the person that they're gonna drive her back to the hotel. And of course I stay with my dad because my dad was still healthy. So when my mom go home, she told me that, oh, the guy is asking 200K. And then actually that's not the price we discussed before. And I told the guy that it will be 50K for maybe a 10-minute ride. And then you see, you will have like this behavior of the guy who knew that my mom was alone, who knew that he may have a way to get a little bit more money from her. And finally, I don't remember exactly how we end, but I had to call the guy and then just told him that no, the price is 50K and that's it. So you will have those kind of behaviors here. But it's not only for the tourists or for the expats, right? I even heard stories from friends from the south of the country going to the north, and because here you have different way of speaking. In the south, they will speak a certain way. And then when they go to the northern people will immediately identify that they come from the south. And then at that time, those people from the north will try to overcharge them. So it's very often that you have this behavior of overcharging, trying to get a little bit more money from either against strangers or even locals between each other. Now, the fourth thing I don't like in Vietnam, it's about the pollution. So, you know, I come from south of France. My parents teach me, you know, how to recycle your trash, how to be proper, how to respect your environment. Anyway, here, because it's an emerging country, you cannot expect the same behavior and the same, I would say, knowledge that the people are having. Especially when you take your motorbike and you go outside of the big cities. Over there, they don't have the facilities to recycle the trash. Sometimes they are not having the people who are going to come and take over the trash that they have in front of their home. So it's very often that when you go to the countryside, you will have and you will see behavior of people that for them it's normal to just burn the trash. So when you come here with a foreign mindset, when you want to do things properly, sometimes it's a little bit frustrating because you see that you have a lot of trash. I remember going to Phu Quoc as well, so the island in the south, taking my bike and wanted to find a natural beach. And over there, finally, that beach that was supposed to be, not very full of tourists was full of trash. So it's something that you have here. We cannot really blame the Vietnamese. It's part of the, I guess, growing and just the fact that the country is emerging. So you have more and more awareness. Not again, all the big cities are equipped and have really the proper facilities to recycle the trash. and the raising education for the young people are obviously here. So you have to expect having quite a lot of pollution here, and just the behavior of the Vietnamese may be really different from what you have in the West. But hopefully after a couple of years, the new generation and the new NGOs and the new habits of those new generation will change a little bit the pollution you have in Vietnam. Now the five and the last thing that I don't like here, it's the drinking culture. Here you have a lot of people who like to drink, right? I remember many times being in and surrounding with friends, you go out, you party, you are going to places called Dinh Nhiao, so people are gonna eat barbecue and at the same time drink a tiger beer. It's very nice, right? It's really something that you have here. It's the part of the culture and the part of the easy way how Vietnamese like to enjoy life. But sometimes it's too much. It's too much. Why? Because when you go out there, when you want sometime to go for a proper meeting, let's say you are meeting a new partner, you want to do business with someone, then it will immediately be after, let's drink, let's celebrate our new partnership, our new friendship. Even for customer and partner relationship, if you are inviting a customer, it's very often that we just try to be and try to get drunk with that person. So when you travel alone or when you just go for a purpose but you don't necessarily want to get drunk, it can be a little bit tiring as well and overwhelming. And it's also something that is part of the habits here and the culture, the behavior. So when you travel by yourself or when you just go for business meeting, just expect that you may have to drink a lot. So you can also say no, obviously, but because we know also that the Vietnamese don't like to lose face, and you still don't want to make a bad impression, right? If you either are a tourist or just start a new collaboration or a new partnership with someone, to be a little bit the guy that is not fun, right? So it's the part of the culture that you have to expect again. It's obviously most of the time fun. When you gather, you have the people that are super welcoming and make you really feel at home. But sometimes it may be also too much, especially when you take your bike, right? I remember going to the north, and over there it will be a rice wine. So they will really take shots of rice wine. So it's fun, but again, when you start to live here for a while, sometimes you are not really happy with those habits, and because it's really part of the traditions you have here, it can be a little bit too much. So I hope today you have a quick ideas about the downside of the life as an expat in Vietnam. I'm living here, so obviously there is more pros than cons. I guess you know it, but it's always good also to show the downside of a culture, or more, you know, the differences and the main gap you have between our Western way of seeing things and the Vietnamese or more Asian way of handling problems, things as well. I'm really willing to get your thoughts and your ideas about what you didn't like if you came here either as a traveler or either you came here as an expat, or even maybe you did business also in Vietnam and there are things that you don't like so much, for instance, the hierarchy or some way of, you know, you have to deal with the relationship. Just let me hear your thoughts below. Just leave a comment and we can continue the discussion together. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And I'ma get it right, dead on sight like